Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, boys and girls. If you notice behind me, we are at a different locale. It's the first time almost ever that I've kind of moved away from the DK Wasteland to do a Stir in the Pot via Skype because I'm at Papa Kincaid's, baby. And look who we got. It's Sir Papa Kincaid on a fine Wednesday afternoon. And my man, he's very busy. He's a hot potato today. He's got a very busy night ahead of him. His first stop is stirring the pot. Dr. Kincaid, stirring the pot with our very, very special guest tonight. One ring announcer extraordinaire, and he's been called the voice of the Northeast as of late. One Matt DaCorte. Thank you, my friend, for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure, Don, and congratulations on the what is it, 7,000 now, 8,000 subscribers?
8K, baby, 8K.
That is amazing, my friend. Congratulations. I saw the post. I threw it out there. I'm like, you know what? I haven't talked one-on-one with my good friend Don Kincaid in a while. Let's stir the pot one more time.
That is an absolute excellent idea, my friend, because if you notice, the number said 7991. That means I needed, boys and girls, yeah, count your fingers. You needed 9 more to get to that 8K. So I got to the 8K yesterday. And look who we have. One at the court. We're going to do some catching up. We're going to talk wrestling. We're going to talk Matt DaCorte. We're going to talk all sorts of good stuff. But, Mr. DaCorte, I do know that this is all about yourself, because that's what we do. We like to showcase the talents and put some nice little spotlights and shine our fine talent in our area. But I'm going to start this in a different direction, if I may, sir.
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Oh, excellent. I appreciate that green light. Now,
hey, no problem, my friend.
If you notice, there's a couple different things tonight. We're in a different locale. Papa Kincaid. Love me some Papa Kincaid. That's my tag team partner, by the way.
Absolutely.
I am willingly wearing myself some Lucas Chase merch. Some fine merch, might I add, on top of that.
Good message, I can't lie.
Yeah, excellent message. Fine message on this merchandise. But myself and Mr. Chase, we have a kind of shaky past, if you will.
Just a little.
Just a little. But if you've noticed, on this show, we like to talk evolution of character, evolution of being an athlete, if you will, and going to a different level, or moving forward from one thing to another in your career as a wrestler. And I picked Mr. Lucas Chase as a fine example for a couple of reasons. We're seeing so much talent that we know, and I'm just going to say right off the ripper because of last night's NXT. One Carmelo Hayes. I don't want to get Uncle Vince up my ass about that one. It's Carmelo Hayes. One Mr. Casanova used to be, and we're seeing all this fine talent get to a higher platform and live their dream, because that's where they wanted to go, the big dub,
Absolutely.
So I picked Mr. Lucas Chase because he's evolving right in front of us.
Oh, yes, he is.
Some of us don't see it. Some of us do see it. But he's doing it in a way where Mr. Stetson is a perfect example. He came out right out of the bat. We didn't hear from him for a while. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Stetson was born. I thought he did it very fine. He did it the perfect way, if I could add on to that. But one Lucas Chase, I feel he's kind of doing that same thing. He's taken a travel cross country.
Yes, he has.
And the only reason why I know that is because I like to stir the pot and get in people's business, if you will. But I'm feeling some special stuff out of one Lucas Chase, if you will. This evolution. And I don't know if he's going to be the cure when he comes back. And I know I'm talking a lot right here. But I don't know if he's going to be the cure when he comes back. And you are aware of one Lucas Chase.
Absolutely.
The fine talent that we're seeing get to that next level. But what it takes to get there, Lucas Chase, I feel, is in the middle of it. Going from the smaller indie promotions, trying to evolve to get to that bigger stage, maybe an AEW Dark debut or such, or get to that performance center. From your perspective, and I know, again, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, boys and girls,
Oh, no worries. It's your show.
but from your perspective, Mr. DaCorte, because I think this is a fine perspective. You work with so many talents. May
Hmm.
they be veterans on the scene in our area. May they be this upcoming hotbed of students that are coming out of test of strength,
Oh, yeah.
PAPW, shut up and wrestle. You
The
know,
future is bright. I can assure you
it,
that.
it is. And that's kind of my point here. From your perspective, how excited are you? Because you're part of the scene just in a different way, if you will, because, they have that physical, they have that, the physical, the mental. And I'm not saying that you don't need any of the both, to perform, but it's on a different level.
No, I
Uh,
agree.
from your perspective, what are you seeing? Who are you excited for? Because I know you're a wrestling fan, first off. So you've got to be really excited to see these guys and girls making to these different levels. And a guy like Lucas Chase evolving right in front of us if he would show us.
Oh, absolutely. And Don, you hit it right on the head. It's like part of why I love what I do is because, I'm living a childhood dream, getting in between a wrestling ring and, with a microphone in my hand. I never thought it would ever get this far, and I'm just gonna, I made a Instagram post about it. I'm gonna take this as far as I can now, and I have a lot of support and a lot of respect from the guys and girls in the back, and that means the absolute world to me. And going back to your point, though, like, part of what I love to do is, after I make the announcements, after I do all the particulars, I get to get out of the ring, sit down, and enjoy the show just like the rest of you. And you mentioned Lucas Chase, and one of the things that I instantly saw about him is that he's it's going to sound kind of strange, but I'll explain. He's very captivating, and that is, whenever he speaks, no matter what he says, if it's a positive message, like it's on your shirt right now, never stop moving. If it's a shot at the guy he's going to be facing off with that night, it's the way he words it, the way he gets it across. It captures you. And as we see now, no, not just in pro wrestling, but in combat sports in general, like even MMA, with guys like Conor McGregor or Israel Adesanya, getting people captivated with words to hype the match or the fight is half the battle. And the mental warfare is almost as important as the physical warfare that takes place later on. And that's the one thing I recognize about Lucas Chase right away, is that his charisma, the way he carries himself, like, he's got that in spades. And the fact now that he's taking his road trip to hone his in-ring skills, when he comes back, it's gonna be a scary prospect for whoever's standing across the ring from him. I can assure you that. So, and then you look at other talents. There was recently, I'm sure you might have seen it by now, the XWA pay-per-view from this past weekend. There was actually a kind of a hodgepodge tag team of Jalen Brandon and one Jay Onyx capturing the XWA tag team championships, and that's huge. Half of two of my favorite tag teams to watch as a fan on the circuit, winning their pretty big time championships here in the Northeast. That's a pretty big deal. Flash Waller was on that pay-per-view. I believe, even Zachariah Gibbs was up there. Gibbs has looked, in my opinion, the best he's ever looked lately. And it's just, there's a ton of talent. I usually don't watch AEW Dark or Dark Elevation just because there's so much wrestling on these days and not enough time. But I watched a few episodes because guys like Robo were on there. I've worked with Robo a lot. He's a great guy inside the ring and out. Obviously, Waves and Curls were there. Hearing Tony Schiavone say Trayvon Jordan, like, I think I announced Trayvon Jordan pretty well. But hearing Tony Schiavone talk about Trayvon Jordan and Jalen Brandon, like that Tony Schiavone, I grew up watching in the 90s as a little kid, and so hearing him say those names, it was just almost surreal. It was just like, whoa, and I got to say too, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but there's an aspect to my job as ring announcer that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. And that's when certain teams like Sean Knight and Jay Onyx, the Haven, are one. Waves and Curls are another. Certain singles competitors. Flash Waller is one that comes to mind nowadays. It's when their music hits, and then they pop out from the curtain. That's when I usually do my spiel. And there are times that that these younger guys, like, I'm not expecting it, but the crowd reaction is so loud. If I go right into it, I can't hear myself. And that's annoying to me because obviously I like to, hear my cadence. I like to hear how I'm saying it. And so it's like I either can't hear myself or I'll have to wait like, maybe 20, 30 seconds for the noise to die down a little bit. So that way I could get going. And, like I said, it's a little annoying, but then in reality, that's a tremendous feeling, hearing that roar just get in your ears, because it shows that they've made the connection with the fans. And going back to Lucas Chase, he gets, gotten he's gotten a lot of attention at Paradise Alley. He's gotten a lot of attention at XWA. Obviously, he was a champion of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And guys like the Haven, both at XWA and Paradise Alley. Ichiban is a guy I haven't mentioned yet. He's been making a big splash at TOS, PAPW, and XWA, all of them. And then you got guys that are in the pipeline. Sunset Steve Garcia is a guy to keep your eye on. He's just getting out there right now. And we'll see what's going on with these the guys and girls in Battle Academy. I'm not particularly thrilled with the way they did things, but they're nonetheless making a splash. So it's like I said before, like you alluded to, the future is very bright, and I feel like both of us in different ways are kind of right there in the precipice of it all. So it's a pretty cool time, I can't lie.
Everything you just, I got the old goosey bumps. Jay Bougie says I have a goosebump issue, but we start talking about the names, and I start thinking of the first time I've ever interviewed Elijah Six was his very first promo.
Really?
Coming up to him at the TOS post event, he was kind of chilling. I asked him, I go, hey, you see me do my stuff? I go, would you mind? I go, I don't think you've ever done one. He goes, nah, I never did. So I get a first little promo from like guys like Elijah Six and some of these talents that you've spoken of. And it goes from that perspective as a fan, and then me doing that media stuff, and then you as a fan and being like right in the middle of it with a microphone. Those two perspectives, man, I feel we're just seeing some really cool and special stuff over the past couple years between Test of Strength, PAPW, Shut Up and Wrestle, and Battlefront was doing some stuff, but it's not like they have their homebred students, if you will.
Right. And here's the thing about that though, is that I've been seeing the posts on Facebook, and a lot of that talent. Well, first off, it's I know Bull Dread was one of the first names announced, and that's one heck of an anchor to have, because Bull Dread. Speaking of young guns, how could I forget Kylon King? He was unfortunately, he was supposed to wrestle. He was supposed to wrestle Leo Rush, and due to some circumstances, unfortunately, it didn't happen yet. But he's been absolutely incredible, and the reason why I bring him up is because most recent PAPW event, Kylon pushed Bull, and Bull pushed him right back, and it was kind of like a generational clash on like on the regional independent level that I don't know, it just felt really special to me, and it was great seeing that. So, but anyway, going back to that, it was like, you got Bull Dread, but at the same time, you got a lot of, up and comers from Kevin Landry's Pro Wrestling Combine. Both you and I are very familiar with Shut Up and Wrestle. And for the Kevin Landry, all the guys up there, they've been building something really good. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, I haven't been up there for the, well, it's going to be 3 of them in a row now because I have commitments for Paradise Alley this weekend. I know. But the good news is, and I gotta talk to the powers that be up there, is that July and August, it looks like I'm clear for it. So I would definitely love to come back if they'll have me. So, So yeah, so they got great talent up there at Kevin Landry's place. I know Danny Adam and Guy Sadlowski have been training up there a lot, and in my opinion, they were already pretty good to begin with, but they've gotten better since they've been putting in the work up there. I've seen that. They've added some new elements, some new weapons in the repertoire. So so yeah, and guys like that, like guys like the Mighty Bosch, he's got him and Sid Morgan, guys like Stevie Legend starting to get around a little bit, make the rounds on the circuit. And then you got, the stalwarts, Jiggy Sosa, Marcos, all those guys. So yeah, there's a lot of talent everywhere, and some are more experienced than others, but that's the thing. When you start seeing those matchups and you start seeing, iron sharpens iron, as they say, it's a good time to be a pro wrestling fan up here, Don.
Now, we've spoken about so many great talents, the few promotions in our surrounding area. And I'm going to hit you with something that I've been hit with, guys that are either a WWE guy, or some have only watched that and they don't know what the indies are, or some that do know what the indies are, they put their nose up to it because it's just a bunch of botched bullshit, or stuff like that. Or you get guys that are AEW now because of that AEW WWE war going on, and it's been kind of really like fans are really split for many different situations when it comes to those two companies now. But a lot of these guys that I've spoken to that are avid WWE and AEW guys, and the other stuff, but more of them too, they kind of look down upon the smaller stuff because we watch students from the ground up, my man. I love it, and I've said it, and I will say it a million times more. I absolutely love watching a brand new student work his or her way up and evolve, as we've already spoken about one Mr. Lucas Chase. Now, I didn't get to see him from the beginning of his career as I have like an Elijah Six or a Ryan Frost or the Havens and the Wallers and stuff. But I don't care if it's not polished, if you will. I want to see the talents rise. I want to see them challenge themselves. I want to see them from event to event. What are they changing? What are they doing up here? What are they doing here? What are they doing with their gear? How are they presenting themselves when they come out of the curtain? There's all of these little things that you look at that a wrestler is supposed to put together that I look at over time, from when Elijah Six wasn't Elijah Six, and I'm not going to say his last name because the GMIC will probably cancel my show tonight. So when you see these evolutions, I absolutely love that environment, Mr. DaCorte.
Absolutely. So, and that's one person that or one group that I forgot to mention as well that's been, coming up, doing tremendous stuff is the Firm. Not only Elijah Six, but Sammy Diaz, Jay Bricks, get well soon, Jay Bricks.
Yes, sir.
And Richard E. Stone Esquire. Oh yes, that's right. I forgot. Yes. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, but that's the thing though, Don. I mean, you see your reaction right there. Whether you love them or you hate them, and most people hate the Firm, they rile up the crowd like no other. And as they say, I'm a big fan of superheroes as well. I'm rocking my 4 Spidey T-shirt here. And as they say, every hero needs great villains, and they are. I've witnessed that they are some tremendous villains. There are some tremendous villains. But going back to your point there, if people who like WWE and AEW look down on the indies, I kind of raise an eyebrow to that, because it's almost like, well, where do you think they're getting this talent from? Yes, it's you can't just, and granted, there are some cases, you got like a Braun Strowman who's just a physical specimen, and he just got released today, go figure, but that was a shock. But either way, like a physical specimen like that, yeah, that's a kind of a different case. But I mean, you look at, again, the Waves and Curls, they made it down to AEW. You look at someone who we've seen at Test of Strength a couple times, Platinum Max Caster and the Acclaimed. You look, speaking of Test of Strength, they had MLW champion Jacob Fatu there a few months ago, and a Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling original, Richard Holiday, is now killing it in MLW. So it's like I hate to use the analogy, but it's like, you look at any major sports league, just about, the NHL has the AHL, they have like the Bridgeport Sound Tigers or whatever they're called now, or the Hartford Wolf Pack, feeding, young guys up to the major leagues. You have, single A, double A, triple A baseball, where guys, hone their skills before they get to the majors. Even the NBA now, I think, has a developmental league. So it's like all that talent in those sports has to come from somewhere. And sometimes you need to hone it somewhere before you jump to these big shows. So that's the thing. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I remember, I hate to use these guys as an analogy, but, just because I started in Paradise Alley, so I've been there the longest. And, someone like, Kylon King and Dustin Flash Waller, I'm positive I announced Kylon King's first match, and I'm fairly certain I announced Flash's. I'm not quite sure on that one, but I know I was there for it. And to see them then, to remember them then, and just to see how far they've come in just that short of time. Ichiban's another one. I remember Ichiban's first match. I announced his first match, and he came in to challenge Sammy Diaz and lost pretty quickly. And ever since then, my goodness, he has made a splash. So, those guys are just just an example of, some of the guys that, they start out, it may not look great. They may not do that well at first, but, every single day, every single week, they're learning something new. They're trying new stuff out, and you see that evolution. You see where they are now. Sky's the limit.
And you have to start from somewhere, and I'm going to circle all the way back to kind of where we started this with one Carmelo Hayes. He was not Carmelo Hayes, boys and girls, when he started. You have to start somewhere. He was always Mr. Casanova. He was always Mr. Casanova through his tenure until he became Carmelo Hayes. That is one thing. But he had to evolve his character. He had to evolve his mindset, his moveset, his physical prowess, his ring attire, how he presented himself to the back room with the boys and girls, the brothers and the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to start somewhere. And I know a lot of the fans like to revert back because they know one Mr. Casanova. They always like to revert way back when he wore a fedora and came out to certain music and portrayed something specific. And I don't like to do that to the men and women that have worked to a certain degree, just like I did with Elijah Six. And I respect that, though. I would never call him Elijah blah, 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 what he was called before. Because I feel once you get to a point, you don't want to hear people call you what you were before, because you've evolved to what you are now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And another thing, and I'm not going on a rant, believe me, but I don't do rants. I kind of hate rants. But let me tell you something. I know we like to be involved with the talents, and we like to know the talents and all of that stuff as fans. But I mean, Mr. DaCorte, one thing that really, let's see, how do I put this? Really crawls up my ass is this. And I don't even know who to use because I don't want to blow anybody's spot out of there. Let's see. I'll just say Mr. Richard Holiday, and we'll say that's his ring name, okay? Richard Holiday is his ring name, but his shoot name is Don Kincaid, okay? We'll just use that as a
placeholder. I get it.
Yes. Hey, man, that Richard Holiday, he's a kick-ass wrestler. Now, this is me at a show talking to a fan, okay? Just hypothetical. Oh, yeah, man, I've known Richard Holiday for like at least a couple years. I call him Don Kincaid because that's how we are, and blah, blah, blah. And he calls him Don Kincaid all the time. And, even when I go up and buy a shirt from him, I call him Don Kincaid. I don't even call him Richard Holiday anymore. And I'm like, what the hell is the matter with you? You come to wrestling to present, to get away to, it's almost fantasy, if you will.
Sure.
You get away for specific reasons. That's why you go to wrestling. That's why you get caught up in it. And that's only part of it, along with the physical and the combat and all of that. But you get away. Same thing that you do, the wrestlers do, male or female, it doesn't matter. They get away to wrestling, they go to wrestling to get away from the regular stuff, and it gets your mind in a different place, and you get to
Absolutely.
do something different and escape. So why, when you're in this environment where you want to escape, you have to just keep it real, if you will, and be like, yeah, me and Dr. K, blah, 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 and this and that. But dude, he's Richard Holiday, like I can't call. And I know everybody's names for crying out loud, but I'm telling you one thing. I'm not walking up to Wrecking Ball Gursky and calling him by his shoot name. I am telling you that right now. Because we all know that does not say on his birth certificate Wrecking Ball.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like I know Bull Dread's shoot name because we're friends on Facebook, but like I don't think I've ever called him anything other than Bull or Super Sexy Beast, because he is in the best shape of his life right now. So or at least yeah. So but yeah. So
you feel where I'm coming with all of that, though?
Yeah. No, I feel you. And going back to what you said too, just even from my end, it's like me, it's like, I don't have my ring name is my shoot name. I'm Matt DaCorte, and in reality, I'm kind of a semi-socially awkward, a little shy at first, just kid from Branford, Connecticut, who originally from Branford, Connecticut, now residing in Wallingford, Connecticut, but who's just, like I said, who started out watching guys like, ironically enough, Richard Holiday and guys like that from the stands, and who was presented with an opportunity and took the ball and ran with it. And ever since then, it was kind of funny too, because I had a kid, he's probably, I want to say probably like a low teenager or something like that, at the last PAPW event. And during the intermission, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, how much do you make as a ring announcer? Like, money wise?" And I said, honestly, kid, not that much, but it's not about the money. It's, I do this first and foremost, always and forever, because I love it. And, it's like, going back to what I said, maybe I'm getting a little off topic, but it's up until college, which was 10 years ago now, like I was, pretty introverted. I didn't have a heck of a lot of friends. I wasn't really the most popular, and that's putting it lightly, without getting too grim. But, college, I found I fit in and, broke out of my shell. And, I was still like that for a couple of years afterwards. But, a few years after that, once, the work grind started, I kind of reverted back into those introverted tendencies. And it wasn't until I got fully entrenched in, the wrestling and the ring announcing that, I felt like I had somewhere that I fit in again. And it's like, I'm not saying I have a bad job, but, every job has their headaches. You go through your rough patches, your highs and your lows. And, my shoot job has been very good. My shoot job, as I call it, thank you to Big Juicy for the terminology. Another up and comer who's getting very good these days. Shout out to Big Juicy. But, my shoot job, right now it's a pretty it's pretty busy. There's a lot going on, and everybody's kind of doing this, that, and the other thing to try and keep the everything moving the way it should. And every weekend now, well, I shouldn't say every weekend, but most weeks now until August, I have at least one event, and my Saturdays are pretty much booked to the gills at this point, which is great. Because it doesn't matter, where it is, how long I have to drive, whatever. As soon as I grab that microphone, step in between those ropes, nothing else matters. It's, I get that crowd going, I get myself going, and everything else goes away. And it's such a huge release for so many different reasons. It's fun, it's exhilarating, and I get to. It's almost like I feel like I get to pull out a part of me that not a lot of people get to see, or not a lot of people know I have. And it's if I don't have it, then like, well, I mean, there's other things to do, but I mean, it's the greatest thing I have going right now. And I'm just so thankful for everything it's given me, not just, new friendships and relationships and whatnot, but just confidence. It's reinstilled my confidence. It's just given me a whole new, the whole reinvigorated outlook, I should say. and it like I think like I got on this tangent because it's like, you know, I get to, like I said, I get to kind of feel like, not like I'm totally somebody else, but like, again,
Right.
you know, I pull out like another side to me that's kind of dormant on Mondays through Thursdays, I'll say, because I do work sometimes Friday nights. So so yeah, it's great. And you know, during the pandemic, yeah, I work in construction administration now, just to, you know, kind of, you know, give you the easy terminology for it. But you know, that was considered essential business, so I never stopped working. And even though I didn't stop working, I wrestling unfortunately stopped for a little while. And you know, when I didn't have that, it was just like, what do I do? You know, and when it came back, let me tell you, seeing all the guys and girls, and you know, the referees, the wrestlers, you know, commentators, uh, film crews and everything, guys, you know, other great people, like, you know, friend Eric, Jim Cools, Woo Crew at Laura C, like, you know, it was great. You know, it was truly tremendous. And I'm glad it's back. I'm so glad it's back. I'm glad it's starting to thrive again. And you know, all of the fans too. You could tell the fans were hungry for it to come back as well, because they were some of the loudest reactions, some of the rowdiest crowds I've just encountered recently. And you know, they're craving it as much as we are, I think, and it's great, man. I'm on cloud nine right now.
I am positive that you missed every single person from these circles that you have gained friendships with and relationships with outside of the ring. And it's not like, you know, hey, come over for cards. It's not relationship, but when you still kind of keep tabs and you say, hey, what's up, or you still communicate around. Um, except I can't imagine that you would really miss Ref Bill and El Ref a whole lot. I mean, are you serious?
Well, you see, that's kind of like, you know, like sometimes depending on where you go, a wrestler is a bad guy in one place and a good guy in another place, you know. So unfortunately, in the Kincaid, in the DK Wasteland, you know, the Ref Bill and El Ref are personas non gratas, you know, down there. But you know, in the Matt DaCorte realm, you know, they're two of my favorite people. I hate to say it, Don, but they truly are. And you know, it's like, going back to that, it's like when I was, you know, shy and awkward at first, you know, when I first started attending events, Ref Bill and El Ref were, you know, two of the, you know, two people that would always come up to me and just be like, hey, how you doing, you know. And you know, just interacting with them, you know, made me feel welcome. And eventually, you know, all the wrestlers made me feel welcome. And and you know, it's a great feeling. But you know, I know they don't treat you good, but I'll put in a good word for you, okay?
Please, because if there's anything that those two, I think it's part of their pastimes, is abuse me physically and verbally, mentally. Like they like to, I, I won't drop an F on, but they like to F with me. Just saying. Um,
Hey,
now,
if it makes you feel any better, I got to contend with the House of Pain on a regular basis. So
oh, you know what? I am so sorry for that. And I've seen some pictures from the last show. I am so sorry. I mean, they were making a sandwich out of it.
hey, you know, it happens. You know, they obviously feel like they need a little more, and it is what it is. You know, I mean, let's face it, facts are facts. They are the 3-time longest reigning tag team champions of PAPW, and
Wow.
we'll see. We'll see. You know, I'll see him again on Saturday. So
Why do you have to say stuff like that? I mean,
because I mean, you've heard speaking of, you know, you know, one of my good friends and mentors, Big Daddy. You know, look at the size of the arms on those guys. If I don't say it, I don't want to know what's going to happen.
no. That is smart. See, I'm not that bright. You're way smarter than I am. So yeah, no, for real. Now there's a couple of topics I wanted to talk about. One of them, I'm just going to stay right here.
Sure.
I'll use examples. Sam Shields comes in, Tessa Strength. He puts his sunglasses on you. You know, we're at a training day, and they put a jacket on you, or they throw a shirt on you while you're announcing, or, and I don't like to say his name, but I'm gonna in this instance. Dan the man always makes you open up the stupid ring ropes for him, and I always yell, "Don't do it!" But you always say, not that you say anything, but you're saying, I'm smarter than you, Kincaid. I have to open these ropes, or I'm gonna get pummeled. So, there's
Well,
these.
either that, or he's just going to stand there the whole time and is going to hold up the show, and I don't think anybody wants that. So,
No, we don't want that. That's for sure. Or get pummeled. We don't want none of that either.
neither is a good option.
No, A or B sucks. Now, these interactions that you've had over the course right now, because you've had many of it, interactions you have, it's got to be really fun as a ring announcer, because you would figure as you're becoming a ring announcer, you're thinking in your head, okay, I got a microphone. I present myself very professionally. I look amazing as F. I mean, just look at me in my bow tie, my beautiful suit.
I'm always so dapper.
Yeah, always so dapper. Always so dapper. So you have this vision of your professional ring announcing career, okay? But now you got these jackasses throwing props on you, and and doing little things to you as a ring announcer, as up to now in your career. That has got to be surprising, I would think. And when it happens, it's always spontaneous, and it's always on the fly, and you can never see it coming because it is that spontaneous. You always run with it, though. That's some of the best stuff. You always run with whatever they give you. It's got to be fun to do that stuff as a ring announcer and be interactive with the talent. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just like you said, when something like that happens, you just got to roll with it for better or worse. When a guy like, when a guy like Sam Shields or Jay Bricks or whoever it is puts, whatever kind of, eyewear they're wearing on my head, I try and make it work, because it'll be fun. I feel like it's fun for me. It's fun for the fans, just like, oh, look at what the ring announcer do. He's still wearing it. And he's still doing the intros, and sometimes, unfortunately, it's not that funny. You got guys like the House of Pain who want to hassle me. Howiston Davis the third. I've never announced Alec Price because every single time I try to, he just bolts out from the back and steals the microphone before I can even say two words. And but that's the whole thing, though. That's the whole thing. Sometimes you get it's like Kenny Rogers says in The Gambler. You got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. And if it's going to be fun, if it's going to make, it's going to make you guys laugh in the crowd, like I said, I'll keep whatever crazy attire they throw on me, and I'll roll with it. Have a little fun. But if it looks like, if someone, giving me crap, and the option is either just to stand down, or you got to stand down, because like I like watching the action. I don't like being a part of the action. So it's like the old saying goes, don't try this at home, kids.
Yes, excellent. That's the name of this episode. Don't try this at home. See, again, you're much brighter than I am. I take it to almost to that line to where they've already, the heat has already come out their eyes, their mouths, it's come out their ears, it's come off the top of their head, and they get to the point to where they're actually pretty close to my face at times. And then I'm like, oh, whoa, I'm not here for any of that. But I take it way too far, way too many times. How I've survived with limbs attached and intact, I don't know.
You're a habitual line stepper.
Oh man, I almost want to call it that. I kind of am an habitual line stepper. That's a fun.
I borrowed that one from Chappelle's show. Can't take credit for that one.
That is Kincaid fun fact number 718. I am a habitual line stepper. Yes, that is a definite. I wanted to kind of talk about another topic real quick. When you're coming up as a ring announcer, you had some help from other people in the industry. You had some help from your peers. I want to say more so at PAPW, because that is your home. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. I hate to always use the acronym, but never say the words, because we want more fans to check out these promotions and the talents that we speak of. as you're coming up, and I want to go to even maybe your first one or two shows that you ever announced at. You spoke to us as the fans already that you're kind of more pulled back, a little more reserved, a little shy, introvert, if you will. And then you've kind of made your way. You've blossomed personality wise and maybe some confidence as you've grown and got into wrestling. My question is, I really want to pick your brain of what did you get from your friends and family when you first did your first and second shows, when they're seeing the footage and or if they were there live? What are you getting from your friends and family? Like, what? That's you? That's Matt DaCorte? That's my Matt DaCorte? Was there some of that coming out when you first started announcing?
Oh, 100%. It was just, it was one of those things where it's like, I personally, like, I kind of knew I always had this, I guess for lack of a better term, showman, if you will, buried deep down somewhere inside of me. And I just needed an avenue to pull it out. And turns out professional wrestling was the one that did it. So, and I couldn't be happier about it. But it's a wide range of things. There are some people that are, that are fellow wrestling fans, that I'm friends with, that, think it's the coolest thing in the world. And, they'll come out to the shows, not only to support me, but, support, the great men and women that are in the ring. And, I'll never forget, one of the events, I forget which one it was, but, Bam Bam, the Test of Strength champion, wrestled, Hot Dog Starks. And so one of my good friends came to see me, and he said, he goes, well, the first thing was I walked in the room, and there was Karen Bam Bam wrestling a guy in a hot dog suit, and I was just like instantly like, I'm sold. So it's cool, because you're at the same time, it's like, again, it's like there's so much great talent out there, but just because it's not that visible to some people doesn't mean it's not there. So right. It's like you're exposing other people to that, through what you're doing. My parents got a big kick out of it. The first time they saw me live, I had been doing it for a while, and then they finally, saw me live. And, of course, my dad was all fired up after the show. He was like, oh, my God, that was so great. It was so cool seeing you in there. He goes, but what was with those two guys that were giving you crap in the middle of the ring that one time? What's their problem? Of course, talking about the House of Pain.
House of Pain.
And I was just like, Dad, it's just their thing. Don't worry about it, please. Like, don't. But and then some people are just like, holy crap, I never knew you looked that good in a suit. Like, and there are some things too. It's like there are some non-wrestling fans that I say, oh, I do pro wrestling ring announcing on the side, and they're like, oh, how much are you making? And then I have to go into it's not about the money thing, and and some people get it, some people don't, but it's that's the thing. It's I never looked at it like a job. I mean, I guess it technically is a job, but if you're having fun, I don't think it's work. So
Absolutely. I love all of that. That is because, again, when we're at the shows, we don't, as fans, we like to talk to the talent and stuff, and we're always honored and privileged to get you guys and girls time at these events.
And real quick, too, just to interject, I just remembered something. Part of one of the things too is when I was, first. I think one of the first times I met you was back in the day, before I was ring announcer extraordinaire, Matt DaCorte. I was a money taker at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Alley Fights, Matt DaCorte, and that was when I first, got to know you, and you were always extremely nice to me, as I welcomed you in and took your money. But then I remember, as I saw things, obviously, I'd see you, filming stuff, promos, some videos and stuff like that with, the wrestlers. I'm just like, oh, that'd be cool if one day, I could do that or whatever, that'd be pretty fun. And I'll never forget the day that, I had been doing, I wasn't doing it, quote unquote, full time back then, but, I had been filling in for a little while. And you came up to me that night and you were just like, hey, Matt DaCorte, how about a Kincaid file? And I was just like, yeah, so real quick, I just wanted to, that memory just popped in my head. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So.
as you were spinning it, I was seeing it because I'm putting it all together and I can see. I remember that exact moment. I remember the lighting. I remember it was the old look. I remember we were actually on the far side of the ring
Yeah.
from before. Yeah, great times, man. Great time. And, you know, when I approach other talents than the wrestlers, may it be a ring announcer or a manager and stuff like that, I get that surprise sometimes, like, wait, you want to talk to me? Or holy shit, he wants to talk to me. Or, like, I've never done one of these things before, or, because you were very, like you said, you haven't even been doing it like regularly yet. So you were just like literally coming up. So I love that stuff. And that reverts back to those first interviews, if you will, or first little promos, little quick snippets at the events and having a lot of fun with the talents. And I'll always say, I don't care if you're ringing the bell. I don't care if you're watching your watch to keep the time. I don't care if you're Matt DaCorte taking the money guy. I don't care if you are Fry Guy Jordan. It does
Hey,
not.
he's finally got his job back, and even then some now.
And then some. We're gonna see. We're speaking of the debut of the Grapple God, if you will.
Yes,
Jordan. I don't know what makes him a Grapple God because we've never seen him wrestle before. So I hope that moniker lives up to its name because this is the debut of one Jordan Rowe. We're gonna see if he holds this job as a wrestler because he's usually a one and done kind of guy.
Which is kind of surprising because I always thought he did a good job as a ref.
Well, besides ref, that wasn't a one and done, but he was he was okay. But yeah, those are the things that I just love, and I know you will love at the same time. Seeing the first talents matches and calling them, and 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 I'm just gonna say it without saying it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Blank you, Howitson Davis III, for never allowing our Matt DaCorte, for never announcing, never being able to have the chance to not say he was announced the prize, Alex Price. You never let him do it, and I hate you for it, and that's BS. And I want to say a lot of swears, and I want to go on a rant about it. Probably my first wrestling rant ever. But like you, one Mr. Howitson Davis III. Not nice, not cool.
And maybe next time he's there, maybe you can be my special guest enforcer.
No, let's not do that because
a little too much. Okay, all right, fair enough.
That's that line. Yeah, that's that line. I think
that's one line you're not gonna step across.
Now there is a topic before I do let you go because I know you're doing the car wash, like the talk. Yes, the talk show car wash.
Real quick, because I know they're friends of ours. I'm going to plug them real quick too. After this, I'm going to be going on with our good friends, Mr. Trivia and the Nugster Greg for the Top Rope Report. And after that, I will be joining our good friend, the Pro Wrestling Professor, Rick Del Santo, on the Pro Wrestle Zone. We're going to be talking some more wrestling, some different topics. I'm sure there's going to be a little overlap, but you can fast forward through those parts depending on what you see first. So, but shout out to those guys. Those are again some connections I made. I love talking not only wrestling but other things with those guys, and and with you as well, Don. I wouldn't be here doing this, and it's going to be a busy night, but it's going to be a hell of a fun night. So anyway, do continue, my friend.
It's a hot potato night for one Matt DaCorte. He's got Stir in the Pot. He's got Top Rope Report, and he's got oh my God. The PWZ, I always want to call it something else. It's PWZ Podcast, correct?
Yes, and I think the PWZ stands for Pro Wrestle Zone. I have the sticker over there.
Because
I can't really see it too far, but
what happens, Mr. DaCorte, when there's like initial, like the acronym, I get them mixed up with wrestling promotions, and I'm like, man, am I saying that right? And I love me the Prof. I mean, the Prof is love the Prof Rick Del Santo and company, but man, I always get PWZ mixed up. I always think I'm calling a promotion. I think I'm messing it up. So yes, boys and girls, go and hit the old keyboard. Look up what we've just where Mr. DaCorte is going to be hitting tonight. The top rope report with Mr. Triv and the Nugster and PWZ podcast with Rick Del Santo. And I believe there's a couple other guys involved. I'm not sure where that's all going on.
Right.
Well, look those guys up. You can find them on.
Absolutely.
I know the Facebook is a definite spot. You can find them. The IG is another spot you can find them, and look them up on the old YouTube. I know there's some stuff out there that they produce. Find interviews from both, and just some talk just like the Nugs and Triv. They've talked WWE post show type stuff, and same thing with the PWZ. They talk some Impact stuff. They talk WWE stuff and so
They've
forth.
had some great guests on there too. I know they had Nick Aldis on there at one point, and some other ROH guys. So
Nick Aldis, are you shitting me? Whenever I saw that they picked him up, I was like, wow.
That's a big get. That's a big get.
Wow. But yeah, boys and girls, go check out our friends at the Top Rope Report and the PWZ podcast. And not only that, because Mr. DaCorte is a very busy guy, and we're just about up to an hour here. But I wanted to kind of close it up with something that involves yourself and Ref Bill Thompson. Now, I know Ref Bill Thompson right now is kind of on the mend. If he's got a little something going on. We don't put a business out there, though. He's got a little something going on. But you guys, even all along while he was reffing and stuff, you do this thing. It's yourself, Ref Bill Thompson, and you do a talk show of sorts, if you will. And it's for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling specifically. Talk to us, the fans, what it's called, what the format is, if you will, where we can find it. Give us all the good stuff about what you and Ref Bill are doing.
Absolutely. So what Ref Bill and I like to do is we have a little show called for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling called Behind the Bell, and it's basically like kind of basically called like a hype show, pretty much, where for our big events at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, for the big matches, we'll recap the storylines. We'll talk about the wrestlers involved in the matches, and bring you up to speed. And for instance, this coming Saturday, June 5th, we got Showtime Marcel Williams teaming up with Flash Waller to take on 2 members of Battle Academy. And so if you've been in and out, or if you've missed a couple Paradise Alley shows, or you're attending it for the first time, what's been going on with that is Flash and Chris Battle. Chris Battle was like a mentor to Flash Waller, and Chris turned on the fans, ended up winning Flash Waller's, at the time, Alley Fights Championship, and now Chris Battle, the Red Lion, is the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Alley Fights champion. And not only that, but he somehow, again, for lack of the better term, seduced the trainees or rookies at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, 4 of them. Jake Lynn, Lorenzo Vendetta, Hunter Tarka, and Skylar Gray. And, it's kind of yin and the yang, because they're making a big splash, but in my opinion, that's not doing it the way they're doing it is not the way. And it's gotten to a point where, Flash's, Miracle Generation comrades, Kylon King, the Haven, have gotten involved to help him out, and returning Showtime Marcel Williams. I mean, the last time I saw him, he was, jaw-jacking with me in the ring, making me announce him, 3 different ways here and there, and what have you. But now it looks like he's turned over a new leaf, and it looks like it. I would like to believe him. I certainly hope it's the case, and that's the thing. It's like, if you want to see how that turns out, I certainly do as a fan. You want to check out the show. And not only is it, can you see it live, 662 Co Avenue, East Haven, Connecticut, bell time 7 p.m., Saturday, June 5th. You can also check it out. It's going to be on Facebook Live. And, of course, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on Facebook. So If you can't see it live, but you want to check out, what we've got going on there, there's going to be so many other people there. If you just actually give me a minute, you might lose me on video, but I hope you can still hear me. Can you still hear me, Don?
I can hear you, my friend.
All right. Let me just bring it up. Yeah. So we also got, Chris Battle is going to be there. He might be in that match with Flash and Showtime. You never know. But we talked about him. MLW star Richard Holiday, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Original will be there. The House of Pain will be there. The new 2021 King of Paradise Ichiban. Ty Shine returns. Maxim Morozov, Elijah Six, one half of the Haven, Jay Onyx, Zachariah Gibbs, Danny Adam, Sunset Steve Garcia, Perfectly Sexy, so much more. And, we got a lot of good stuff coming up over the summer. We got one more at the what I like to call the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Performance Center. Hopefully WWE doesn't take offense to that. But we're going to be moving back. We're going to be moving out. We're going to be going to the JCC of Greater New Haven for the Rumble in Paradise and Diesel Mania, both of which will be coming up quickly approaching. I believe August and September. Again, check out Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on Facebook and ParadiseAlleyProWrestling.com. At official PAPW on Twitter, at official_PAPW on Instagram, to check out the match announcements and ticket information, all that good stuff. We got a lot coming up on there, and just real quick, while I don't want to make it seem just I'm favoring Tessa's strength, I'll give him a good amount of time because that's what I got coming up next. But also too, I know Shut Up and Wrestle is this Saturday. Again, unfortunately, I was double booked. I can't do both, but I love what they've got going on there. I love the talent that they have there. I'm sure it's going to be a great show. So definitely, show them some love as well. I miss you guys up there. Shut Up and Wrestle. I know you're going to kill it. So, and I can't wait to see the footage myself, because like I said, they're building something special up there. And, hopefully I can go back to being a part of it soon. And then later this summer, Tessa Strength is going to be back. That's Tessa Strength on Facebook, at TOS Wrestling 1 on Twitter and Instagram. So, and they've got, Sean Maluda is going to be teaming up with TJ Crawford in I believe it's a 4-way tag team match. Yep, with the Kowalski guys, the Firm, Elijah Six, and the Ace, Sammy Diaz, and the Nightcrawlers, Gabriel Sky, Dominic De Niro. And tag team championships are going to be on the line. We got Bam Bam, Masha Slamovich, Tessa Strength Championship, Steve Pena, Mike Skyros, K1, and a whole bunch more on that card too. And then, which I just saw, which is going to be very cool. I think it's their show in August, or their event in August, I should say. They have ECW and former WWE star Jazz on the card.
That they do, and not only that, they're doing a jazz seminar.
Yes, absolutely. So there's like kind of the stirring the pot. We've kind of stirred it into a full circle here, because going back to the very beginning, Don, this summer is going to be off the charts. There's a ton of great events coming up. And even real quick too, I just tell a quick story, because I know we're getting close here, but I actually did an event up in Maine a couple weekends ago, Vacation Land Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
That was actually really cool, because that was the first time. There's like any given show, there's probably 20, 25 wrestlers that are on the card, and nowadays I know the first time I think there was 20 to 25 wrestlers on that event, and I knew a grand total of 3 of them. And so that was actually very cool, because it was a little out of my comfort zone for the first time in a while, and I got to meet some new people, do some networking, and they've got a great thing going up there too. I had a ton of fun at that. And so kudos to Vacation Land. And that just shows you, whether it's in Maine, whether it's in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, tri-state area, there's tons of stuff out there, folks. So go out there, support independent wrestling, support independent wrestlers. And like I said, just because it's not on your TV screen doesn't mean it's not good. So
absolutely. And we spoke of so much talent, promotions, and even, what was going on this weekend. And I just want to slip in one more event that's actually happening June 6th, being this Sunday coming up. Now you have Shut Up and Wrestle 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kevin Landry's combine.
Yep.
The same space the next day is the debut of Wrestle Association Heartstrong Gumi. Now I know that's a long name. Wrestle Association Heartstrong Gumi. Gumi being Gumi. Look that up. They're having their very first event debuting this Sunday at the same place at Kevin Landry's Combine. So that's going to be there. And the talent that's on that thing as well. You spoke of so much great talent. Another event in our area, very local, with really a totally stacked card, just like the rest of them are. And I feel it's just like you said, it's a great time to be a fan, not only in wrestling, but just like even in our area. And I know like there's some hotbed areas right now with wrestling, being Florida, Texas, even Midwest right now. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. But still in the Northeast, still a hotbed, my man.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned that show because I'm actually, I've seen the match announcements, I've seen the talent they've got on there, and
Mhm.
if you're a fan, you're going to that, you will not be disappointed. In fact, I'm a little jealous I'm not on that, but hey Don, if they, I'm not, I don't know who's doing the particulars up there, but if
Ooh, actually, I, Don Kincaid, I actually made the graphics for Heartstrong Gumi. So I kind of know a guy. Maybe I'll get into his ear hole and be like, so who do you got for a ring announcer up there? Hey, I'm not afraid to. If there's anything that I'm not afraid to do, my friend, is to ask a total. Never mind somebody I know. I'll ask a total stranger a random ass question. I don't care. So believe me, I will get in the ear hole of the higher brass at Heartstrong Gumi, and we'll see what's good
I
because there's
appreciate that,
12
my friend.
matches. Yes, I absolutely. There's 12 matches, my man. That's going to be
Right.
a hell of an event.
Absolutely, absolutely, and and granted, if they've got guys like like a Rich Palladino or like a Vince Barry or anything like that, then by all means, because those guys are stellar, and even a guy like Bob Whitney at XWA, stellar dude, and and so it's I would trust if it was one of them, or someone on that level, they're in good hands for sure, but if, like I said, if there's an opportunity that I would love to be there. So
If there's a need, I got you. And I will just want to add on a couple more. There's Ryan Peterson is out there doing his.
yes, absolutely, yes, absolutely.
And
Mike Falvo, I gotta.
that was the last one I was going to say because if I don't, he is going to wring my neck because he loves to hate me. Is one I like to call Mike. I like to call him Mike Flavo. I really think, but it is Falvo. He's going to wring my neck anyways, just because of that. But yeah, there's really some fine talent out there doing some fun stuff. And see, we had a conversation pre-record, and these names that we were just spitballing, my man,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason. You see what I'm saying? Huh? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Huh?
Absolutely, and that's the thing. It's like it's like I'm not trying to steal anything away from anybody, and it's just like because and I think I said this in a Facebook post one time, but it's not just the wrestlers that that the New England tri-state scene is a hotbed for, but it's also ring announcers. There's a lot of ring announcing talent out there, and one thing is I would like to meet some of these guys, because some of the guys that we mentioned like Ryan Peterson, Mike Falvo, they've done MMA events, and not to get too off topic, not to get too far out, but I would love to do an MMA event as a ring announcer, just whether it's the highest of the highs or like a small regional promotion. I just want to do one event and just cross that off the bucket list, and I can die a happy man.
I think I'm gonna get into the ear hole of a couple more peeps for one, Mr. Matt DaCorte. My gears are turning, my friend. Mr. DaCorte,
Yes,
this
sir.
has been an absolutely fantastic hour. You were so informational. You gave us your passion for one solid hour. That smile is absolutely amazing. And
That's right.
thank you so much for just being open with us, the fans, and just hanging out and talking and hanging out on Stirring the Pot. I really appreciate it, my friend.
Hey, no problem, Don. Thank you for having me on. You know, like I know you made that Facebook post, and you know, congratulations again. You know, your subscriber count is growing. I couldn't be more happy for you because you know
So
you're giving us a big platform. You know, you're giving us a chance to talk. You know, talk shop and just have fun and get our name out there a little bit. And you know, I'm glad that you're able to see some benefit from that as well. Because like you mentioned, you've been doing graphics. You know, I don't think a lot of people know, how much you do. And so then, at least, I don't think it goes unnoticed, personally. I definitely see that, so again, thank you for having me on. Thank you for, letting me talk. And it's been an absolute pleasure, man. It's felt like 15 minutes and it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. So
I know that's the way it goes when a couple benches are just hanging out talking wrestling.
that's what
But
happens when we stir the pot, baby.
uh, I just had to brainstorm real quick, and it's gonna take real quick.
Go for it. I got a few more minutes.
We celebrated STP 6K with one Stephen Baker. He brought up the idea of a game show with some talents. Did you happen to catch any of that at all? Just
I did.
Okay.
I did.
I was wondering. I'm starting to reach out to talents as of last night. I reached out to one. Mr. Baker wants to run it back for 8K. So I was wondering maybe if Mr. DaCorte would want to be one of said talents on the STP 8K game show version with one Mr. Stephen Baker as a host. We call him Alex Trebek. Well, Trebek for short. I was wondering maybe if you would like to partake in such an event, my friend.
Hey, Stephen Baker's a guy I've gotten to know pretty well. And if you guys to have me, I would.
Yes.
There you go. You froze for a second there. I thought I was just like, oh wait, is that a no?
You froze too. That would be fantastic. I'm going to make that happen, my man. I'm going to make that happen.
You let me know the time and the place.
Yes, we'll figure out the particulars, if you will. I got a lot of work ahead of me. We got some stuff to do for Mr. DaCorte. My friend, a fantastic hour. I thank you again, and I can't wait to see you in person. It's been a minute, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think I know that sometime this month we're definitely going to cross paths. So looking forward to it, my friend.
This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, ring announcer extraordinaire, the voice of the Northeast, as he's being called, Matt DaCorte. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.